Pastor Jerry! This is your King, President, Godfather, Chief Champ Vinci, Dr. Champ, Nicholas Lee Sutton. Here sits a man full of the spiritual gifts, overflowing in all the things that people search for when they search for God. These kind of things, self-development, educational degrees, all these different kinds of things. And we got all this society running around trying to decide why a smart, handsome, amazing man of God is disqualified somehow from being able to share in the blessings of earth or to have what I need, money or a vehicle, these other forms of things. So, why they think they're holding us to some ethical standard and they think that they're connected to some form of God. I mean, I'll take an Oprah. We don't got to go all the way to God all the time. I'll take an Oprah. Give me an Oprah and a brand new car and some money, and me and that beautiful black lady will drive around, we'll laugh, we'll Facebook. I'm just saying, I am bored out of my mind. I can keep doing what I'm doing and hoping that and praying that things happen. And I actually believe, Jerry. That's the difference, Jerry, is I actually believe good things are going to happen. And then they don't. So I can't explain, what that's like to be a dispositional optimist and to continuously live in a world that thinks that this place that we've come to planet Earth to let tiny people on the inside of their hearts and their minds that have no joy and spirit, they just choose jobs to try to take away from great, strong, brilliant men. And then they teach all of society to follow that pattern. And they think that that's a form of Christianity or of God. I mean, I'll take Oprah. I know God as much as anybody has ever walked this planet. I am that sure of that. But all these people trying to judge us on an ethical standard. And here sits a man that has everything that they lack, but not the resources that I need or even that I desire. Do you know that some earthly desires are okay, Jerry? God didn't send us here to not like ice cream. He didn't. He didn't make things that are good for us to ignore good things. And on this planet, they're always like, we want to take away all the good things and then you're being a good person for God. And why would God make good things if we're not supposed to share in them? And why would God send us to earth if the only focus is the negative? I mean, do you want rotten food all the time? No, we want delicious food. The actual choice of darkness and evil, Jerry, comes down to this exact thing. And it's, to me, what is obvious. You can guess all you want about how someone is on the inside. Yet, to me, it is so obvious that of the people who want others to have good things versus people that do everything to make sure that somebody's rewards are delayed or maybe later, or if they'll act this way, then they're good enough. No. Those are all agents of darkness. That's all they are. They go out to steal, kill, and destroy you. They'll be like, "Ooh, your ego's too good. Feel bad about yourself." 3 weeks later, you listen to them, you feel bad about yourself. 3 weeks later, they're like, "Look, he's depressed. He needs to go see a counselor to talk about why he doesn't like himself." And then it's like, what? So the church will tell you not to like yourself. That'll make you sad. You go out into the community, the same church members will say, "Look, here's a sad person." And then they'll send you to a counseling place and then put you on a pill connected to heroin or that makes your brain slow down and makes your brain sad. All while telling you, you have to wait for good things and you have to wait for prosperity. And maybe one day if you act this way, and this way. Jerry, I've done all those things. We are trapped in a world of people that just don't want others to have an enjoyable life. And the only structure of the human brain that's operating right now is that one. It's sad. I've seen a few moments and flares of goodness of people thinking, yeah, we're going to do something good. Like the church, like you helping me that night. a few signs of goodness. Yes, there are a few flakes of goodness, but we are in a torrential hate yourself, hate your ego, hate physical things. Don't think that you just because you got 3 degrees and played professional sports and outworked people your whole life that you're supposed to have some form of reward for having that much knowledge. Come on, that's not the way of the God of this time. And that's what they teach, and that's how this life is. So everything that they lack, I have. And the physical goods and monies they stolen from all good people under this curse of let people that are very dark on the inside take away from those of us that are very full on the inside of great things, and then we burst with great energy and people like us. And they're taught that if you're popular and people like you, to call us a narcissist or a racist or something stupid. And instead of to clap their hands and to offer money to those of us with this form of intelligence. The sign of tithing to God is the sign of saying, you have more knowledge than us, so we are going to help you financially. You have given to us things that are seen and unseen, as I have. So we are going to bless God in a tithe. And in the same way, it's a tithe of education. It's a tithe of when you don't have an answer, what do? You're going to pray and you give to God, and it's out of honor and respect. And I built my own model of myself after God and the way that I think about things and the way that I do. And the more that I stick to that game plan, the closer I get to the experience of what it's like to be a child of God and a man of God. Yet they don't like people like us, Jerry. They don't. They admire us. We'll be the most popular people, yet they've been taught that anybody that's popular, figure out how you can destroy them. And it's every game. It's like the dumbest military move of all time. No wonder people hate the military. I hate to say that. I don't hate them. I love them. But to be honest, I mean, as an organizational structure, no wonder everybody hates them when they come home from war. They've been taught how to be disrespectful to everybody, how to turn our own country into a third world country because you're not saying yes, sir, enough, and you're not doing this and this and this. It's a demented military leadership that we're living under. It's pathetic and sad. It's like the high school basketball players who may have started but weren't very good leading this world. And that's as far as they've gotten. And they ran around and, yes, sir, to everybody. And now they think they're in charge, Jerry. And those of us that were like, okay, I can do other things. I can heal people's brains, soldiers, police, all these other kinds of things. So I'm not blaming the military person, yet, like in general, but that's actually what we're dealing with. It really is if the military leadership was good, we would not be in this situation because there's too much power and strength with all those weapons and all those soldiers. So that's what we're dealing with, and we need a complete wipeout of military leadership is what we need, because that's what we're under. The military got some crooked people at the top, got into the agencies, and then turned America into the hate yourself bathtub of the world. Wake up every day and hear about how to hate yourself and how to be hated if you're a great person. And how to never have what it is that you need in life, and they always delay what people need, and not today, maybe tomorrow, maybe we'll bless you next week. You know, the person that's outworked all these people and has more knowledge than the accumulation of billions or even an entire history, Dr. Champ. Oh yeah, we'll just delay him blessings. I mean, what kind of future is that for people? To delay blessings to people like myself. Like, what does that teach a kid in 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th, 10th, 12th grade? Study hard so one day you can end up like the smart man that doesn't have the resources he needs? It's the death of God that we're living under, Jerry. And I pray that you help us break that death chain. I have lots of needs, yet I have more to offer than I can honestly say than any human that's ever walked the earth, other than the Jesus that rose from the grave. He said I'd be here one day, and here I am. I love y'all. I need resources. I would love to do what I do and speak to the world and carry on. So maybe there's a grant or a donation, or I can ask for simple little jobs, and I'll take those. I just stopped by to a little local station down there and tried to fill out an application. They said they couldn't find any. So I will continue to try to do slave jobs of the world. Yet the Spirit told me this morning, don't be ashamed to ask for a large donation, so I can do what it is that I do best and reach out to the world. So maybe that's what's on the mind. Maybe we'll get a donation out there that can help cover things. Got a little bit left on a credit card, and then after that, I seen somebody down at the landlord's house, a woman, and me needing work, and I see a whole bunch of men running up into Dwight's house while he's sick. I got a feeling he wants me to save him from that situation. Yet with all those idiot men that run up into his house and don't do a single thing, it's hard for me to kind of find a time to even speak to him. And then with all the other resource things, and he's got 5 men living off him, and then he's got 5 men inside that house and one right down here very capable, and then a woman pulls up in a car, looks at me, and it's like, hang. And I mean, God bless her soul, I hope she has a better day. But then, you got 5 men on the inside surrounding Dwight. I don't even think Dwight can get out of the house. I think he's wheelchair bound, and he doesn't even have a wheelchair ramp, Jerry. So I got one at my house, but I don't think, I don't know, when I look at the back porch, I don't see a wheelchair ramp. I could be wrong, but I think somebody took the steps down to where he might even be trapped. But then I see her washing off the porch, being as disappointed as she could ever be. And then it just makes me think, it's like, yeah, all of us strong men that you want to be canceled, I would enjoy spraying off that porch. I enjoy doing things. I like having something to do. Yet even more than that, I'm blessed to speak, to teach, and so maybe we can call in a donation in the name of God, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit. Maybe you or maybe Kathy or somebody else knows somebody that can bless my work so that I don't have to sit here and think about how sad it is, this world that we live in. Like, I'm not sad because I'm a great human. Yet this world we live in, what encouragement is it for any human when you have a person like Dr. Champ, Nicholas Lee Sutton, that they refuse to reward me? They do. This society refuses to like a person that's out-achieved all the other people. So what future does that give for children? What kind of state of insanity is the world in today's times? And then for those of us that did all of these great things, prayed to God, did all these kinds of things our whole life, help little ladies across the street, try to help drunken girls walking across the hill in the middle, I thought that was the Boy Scout way, help them across the street. So you get them across the street, you get a badge. Don't have my badge, don't have anything. I got some food, I got, when I say anything, I mean like the resources, like what an actual human, an actual man needs. And so to me, Jerry, this I don't let it eat me up personally. Yet it's like this: if I can't be blessed under God's name, then who deserves it? Then who would deserve it? And that's a hopeless world that we live in, when our greatest human beings that can excel and have our entire lives in every single thing that we've done while loving God. I didn't just play basketball better a lot of times. I loved God more. I would love God more. I would worship more. I'd believe more. I'd pray more. I'd do everything more. More of the good. So, to be realistic, if I don't have to fake the reality that's actually out here, it's a pure garbage world in this system, and who's in charge. And I'm not necessarily blaming like the president, these kind of things, because there's 10,000 Babylon fools on TV that do nothing but kill, steal, divide, destroy, and hate great men. So we're in a world where the greatest of us are the most hated, the most delayed on blessings, and behind the scenes is somebody with a little red balloon going, what if we do this to the strong man? What if we do this to the doctor? What if we trip him? What if we take his children? What if we blame him in court? And that's all it is. What if we delay him? Oh, he's fine. He don't need any money. It's like the devil with the Bible. It's like Satan, Pastor Satan is all it is. This whole watch great people suffer with nothing. To me, I'm not entertained by it, Jerry. I know that entertains the 98% of stupid, broken down brains in this world. Hey, how long can these people go without what they need? Look, they don't get to do this because one time they did this, and they don't get to have these good things even though they're better than us at what we do. They don't get to do that because we made up something about them. Nah. I'm sorry. That doesn't entertain me. Sorry, Jerry. It doesn't. I'm not interested in that stupid religious poverty game. It doesn't interest me. No, thank you. I'm spiritually mature way beyond the point of thinking, oh, let's all have to be poor all the time, so that way we're humbled before the Lord. If God wanted a bunch of losers, he would have sold us to the devil. That is not what a good God wants. That's what dumb, pathetic, weak, garbage brains say. And when you have dumb, pathetic, weak, garbage brains, Pastor Jerry, Dr. Champ will tell you the worse their minds are, the worse they've been taught, the less goodness that they have in their minds, the more it's filled with demons and ghosts. And when you hear this world teaching, they think they're teaching the Bible correctly. No, they've got about 5% of good ghost in their mind and about 95% of bad ghost. And they'll take this wonderful book that's supposed to give us anything in the name of Jesus Christ and turn it into something that's, well, you don't get this because of this, this, and this. I'm sorry, Jerry. I believe in prosperity. I know there's money out there. I know there is. So there has to be some complete pathetic loser in the way of it, and I pray that either God or mankind decapitates them. Head cut off, head popped off. Hallelujah! People can be treated with some form of decency now. And, we got to think about this. Like, at what point do the good guys not go to war? And I know in many ways they're at war, but no, there's somebody inside of the good guys circle that's holding things up. That's not allowed. That turns everybody that's a good person that's behind a bad leader into the military of darkness under the shining chapel of God. When you have the wrong leader, it can take an entire nation and an entire world that even though that in their daily life they're doing all the things that check off the box for the good Christians, and then they have the wrong leader. And the wrong leader will want everybody to have poverty. So the poverty leadership model is a model of darkness. You don't get to say that, oh, these are the ways that we do it in the old days, and listen here, if you just be patient and just go through these trials, and then you think, oh, okay, that's just the way things work, right? And then you think you take a step back further or a step higher up in the air to look at it, Jerry, and you go, okay, now that they've convinced everybody that suffering is some form of reward or of God, now that they've done that, and then God were to look down, and he looks down, and God wakes up from a nap, and he said, who's making my people suffer today? Oh, it's those people in charge of the good people. It only takes one person to be the wrong leader, Jerry. And it turns an entire world of great, hope-filled people into the shame of suffering. The game of suffering is the game of hell, Jerry. It doesn't. At the point of suffering, and it's being led, leaderships are actually leading you into suffering, is at that point, Jerry. Anybody following that model is following the operation of darkness. There can't be light and darkness and just a little bit of this. No, there's light and there's darkness. There's a different arrangements of that. Yet the moment a human being leads a society, a nation, these other kinds of things through this old school failed model of military, and don't tell me it's not a failed military model, because our nation has gotten its butts kicked. I know on TV they're like, America's so strong. Our capital got taken over by a group of people dressed in Halloween costumes. I'm sorry, I'm not impressed. Not impressed at all. That shows we have the weakest military in the world. They feel really strong and they look tough, and I'm cheering for them, Jerry. But when they have this idea that suffering is for gain, no, it's not. No, it's not. Harvesting is for gain. Hard work is for gain, not suffering. They exchange this idea because hard work feels like suffering sometimes. But to work hard should be rewarded. To work smart instead of hard should also be rewarded. And they're not asking us to work smart. They're asking us to work dumb. They're not asking us to work at our best potential. They want to see us at our worst. And then they judge us at the opposite end of the scale of what God judges us. So organizationally, this whole idea of, hey, let's suffer for long periods of times. And then, Jerry, to all the people that stand behind, that are in the circle, that can break through to do this, every moment that they don't prevent the person doing that or take them out of the circle to do that holds everybody in poverty, is a minute that they've sold their soul to the devil, walking around in the poverty outfit. Let's let everybody be poor. We'll teach them some lessons and then they'll learn the righteousness of God. Well, some of us just work hard and have outworked people. And this idea that motivating people in that way is a good thing, it's not. Because when God wakes up or when God looks down and says, who's making my people suffer? And then those people that teach those old school military failed ideas and the reason why the United States has failed, completely failed, $34 trillion, the worst failure of any nation in the world economically, is because of these reasons. They teach nationwide suffering is what God wants for you. And you can think that from a human standpoint, but then when you go to a godly standpoint in the air and you look down, then God or any good father or any good leader would say, who's making my people suffer? And God would destroy them. And we pray for that in the name of God, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit. Pastor Jerry, show me the money.